Hi guys, welcome to Keeping It Simple Crafts. I hope everyone is doing good. Today I am making a Dollar Tree splatter screen pumpkin wreath. So for this wreath, you're going to need one reusable tote bag from Dollar Tree. You will need some floral wire, your hot glue gun and glue sticks, your wire cutters, your scissors, and you're going to need 3 of the Dollar Tree splatter screens. Now if you want to, you can spray paint your splatter screens first if you would like. You will also need some twine, some ribbon for a bow, and some floral picks for this wreath. First you will want to remove the knob, so you'll need 1 with a handle, 2 with a knob. Remove the knobs, and you're going to take some floral wire and you're going to overlap the 2 screens that had the knob, and you're just going to wire them together. So just take the wire and go to the bottom, make sure you overlap them and kind of look to make sure the pumpkin's going to be the size you want. Thread the wire through, go to the other side and give the wires a few twists, and then fold them down and trim off the extra. And you're going to want to do the same thing to the very top of the 2 splatter screens. Once you have the 2 splatter screens wired together, you're going to take the one that has the handle and kind of place it right over the top of where they overlap, and then you're going to want to wire that splatter screen on next. I am using floral wire, and this is the 20 gauge floral wire, and I think I picked mine up at Hobby Lobby, but you can pick it up at Walmart, Dollar Tree, Michael's, places like that, and it's inexpensive. And I'm using the 20 gauge, and so I just wired the one with the handle on at the top and then wiring it also at the bottom so everything stays in place. And this is how it looks with the 3 splatter screens wired together. Now it looks like a pumpkin. So next you're going to want to take one of your tote bags and you're just going to cut the front sides out so that you'll have 2 squares. Now I bought 2 tote bags just in case I messed up one. I wanted to have an extra, so it's up to you whether you buy an extra one or not. Then you're going to take it and lay it over the top of the center splatter screen, the one with the handle, and you're just going to trace so that you can cut out the bag and hot glue it onto the splatter screen. Now you'll want to make it just a little bit bigger so you'll want to go outside of your line when you're cutting so that the circle is actually a little bit larger, because you'll see in a little bit I did not get mine quite as big as I should have, but it still worked out. And then here I'm doing the left side and the right side of the pumpkin too, and you can kind of feel with your finger where the edge of the screen is when you're tracing your pattern, and like I said, make it a little larger than this when you start to cut. You will also need some mesh tubing from Dollar Tree. I used the mesh tubing and put it just kind of around the edge, the very edge of where I hot glued on this tote bag, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So it kind of covers up the flaws where I didn't cut it exactly correct. And now I'm just using some Gorilla Glue, hot glue, and just gluing the tote bag down. Be very careful when you're using your hot glue gun. You might want to put on the hot glue finger guards for this wreath. So try to line up your tote bag as carefully as you can, and then just carefully press it down onto your splatter screen. Same steps on each splatter screen. Just remember when you're using your hot glue gun that you do not want to hot glue your pumpkin down to your table, so make sure you're picking it up pretty often so that it does not stick to your table. Also, when you have your wreath finished, you might want to take some felt and cover the back of the wreath so that it does not scratch your wall or your door. Dollar Tree has in a lot of the cute reusable tote bags right now. So this is how it looks when you get the pumpkin covered. And now here's the mesh tubing. And so I am just hot gluing it on along the edge as a border. So I'm just kind of lining it up right along the rim of the splatter screen and just pushing it down carefully. You might want to put on your finger guards, your hot glue finger guards for this part too. When you add the mesh tubing, it kind of camouflages any flaws that you might have when you were cutting out the shapes out of your tote bags. I outlined all of the edges with the mesh tubing, and I think it just needed that extra pop to really make it look like a pumpkin, so I think it turns out really cute when you add the mesh tubing. It's kind of optional, especially if you spray painted your splatter screens, but I just like the way the mesh tubing looks on it. You could stop right here if you wanted to, but I think it looks really cute to take some twine, and you can pick up some twine at Dollar Tree or Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Michael's, places like that, and you're just going to be very careful, and you're going to take the twine and hot glue it onto the handle, and then you're just going to wrap the handle with the twine. Now when you get to the top where the hole is, I would thread some wire through that hole so that you can use that wire to hang up your pumpkin wreath when you get finished. But just be very careful and use a little hot glue as you go, and just put on those hot glue finger guards so that you protect your fingers. I have my hot glue gun set on low temp, so that's why I don't have my finger guards on right now, because mine is on low temp. And so now I'm taking some ribbon with wire, and I'm cutting 6 strips at about 18 inches to tie a bow. So you're going to take one of your strips, make a loop, pinch it together, leaving about 1.5 inches to 2 inches below your fingers. Get your next strip of ribbon, same steps, make a loop, pinch the ribbon together and add it to your first loop, and just continue the same process until you have made 6 loops. Now try to compare your loops because you want to make them the same size each time, and you'll need a pipe cleaner close by to wrap around just above your fingers. You'll want to make sure and get that pipe cleaner nice and tight. So this is how it looks, and here I'm taking my pipe cleaner, twist it as tight as you can, and that way it holds together and makes a beautiful bow. I did not leave any tails down for this bow, so if you want tails, you might want to cut your ribbon at a little bit longer length than I did mine. And then once you have the pipe cleaner secure, you're ready to fluff the loops of your bow, and this is 2.5 inch width ribbon with wire. And then you'll want to pick up some fall floral picks, and I just took my picks and used some wire cutters and cut the picks into smaller pieces. And next I'm going to make a little swag, and you will need a zip tie too. My fall floral picks all came from Dollar Tree. So making a little swag is very simple. You're just going to take and place down your longer floral picks first. So you'll place them on the bottom, and you'll kind of overlap the stem. So kind of overlap and keep it pinched tightly, and you're just going to add more pieces on top, and just kind of, I like to make whatever I do on the left, I do on the right when I can. I can't always, because sometimes I'm reusing floral picks, but I try to make both sides match when possible. And so once you have the swag the size you want, then you're going to take your zip tie and wrap it tightly around the middle of your little swag. I forgot to mention that when you tie your bow, make sure you leave that pipe cleaner long, because in just a little bit you'll see that I just take my bow and use that pipe cleaner that's around my bow to wrap it around this little swag, and that way it's really simple to attach my bow. Then I use that same pipe cleaner and I attach it to the handle of my little splatter screen. So very simple. So you could change out your little swag and bow if you wanted to. This would be real cute. The pattern on the tote bags would also work for Halloween, so that's always an idea. And then I had some beautiful glitter leaves. They're on a clip. I got 2 in a package from Dollar Tree. And those tiny little bits of tails that were left on my bow, I just clipped those glitter leaves to them. And that's it. Last year, I also made a Dollar Tree splatter screen pumpkin. So if you have not seen that tutorial, I will link that tutorial in the description box below for you. You'll just click on the link. I really like the way last year's pumpkin wreath turned out, but I think this year's is my favorite actually. So if you watched last year's and now you're watching this one, let me know which one's your favorite. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all are always so sweet and I appreciate your positive comments. And I have around $10 in this splatter screen pumpkin wreath, which I think that's great. So please remember, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share.